One boy, one giant, one moment when courage defied every natural law. For 40 days, the armies of Israel have trembled. For 40 days, a monster has mocked their God. The advantage belongs to the enemy. Superior size, superior weapons, superior terror. But on this morning, everything changes. A shepherd walks into history. He carries nothing but stones and faith. The Bible records this not as a fairy tale, but as truth. This is David's brave stand against impossible odds. This is faith versus fear. Israel faces its ancient enemy. The Philistines have invaded the land, their forces gathering in the Valley of Elah. They possess superior iron weapons, technology Israel doesn't have. Their champion is Goliath of Gath, standing over 9 feet tall according to 1 Samuel chapter 17. His bronze helmet gleams in the sun. His coat of scale armor weighs 125 pounds. The iron point of his spear alone weighs 15 pounds, more than most men can lift. A shield bearer walks ahead of him, protecting him from any distant attack. This is not just a soldier. This is a human war machine, engineered for one purpose: unstoppable dominance. Every morning and evening for 40 days, Goliath emerges. His challenge shakes the mountains. Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome him and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us. This is champion warfare, ancient combat law, where one representative fights for the entire nation. Winner takes all. But there's something deeper happening here. Goliath isn't just challenging Israel's army, he's mocking Israel's God. I defy the armies of Israel this day, he roars. 80 times he has spoken these words. 80 times Israel has remained silent. Fear has become their only response. Let's understand the giant's advantage. Goliath's height gives him superior reach. He can strike opponents before they can touch him. His armor protects every vital area. His spear can pierce any shield. His strength allows him to fight for hours without tiring. He is trained for war since his youth, decades of killing experience. He fights with a shield bearer, meaning even ranged attacks are blocked. His psychological advantage is greatest of all. Just seeing him causes trained warriors to flee. King Saul, who stands head and shoulders above other Israelites, refuses to fight. The giant's advantage isn't just physical, it's total, complete, overwhelming. By every military calculation, Goliath is unbeatable. David arrives from Bethlehem with food for his 3 brothers serving in Saul's army. He's the youngest son of Jesse, probably a teenager responsible for tending sheep. As he reaches the battle lines, he hears that voice. Goliath's challenge splits the air. Watching Israel's warriors scatter like frightened children, but David's reaction is completely different. While others see an invincible giant, David sees an insult against God himself. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? Notice his words, not the armies of Israel, but the armies of the living God. David understands something the trained soldiers have forgotten. This isn't Israel's battle, it's God's battle. David's oldest brother Eliab hears him asking questions about the giant. Eliab explodes with rage. Why have you come down here, and with whom did you leave those few sheep in the wilderness? I know how conceited you are and how wicked your heart is. The accusation stings. Eliab sees David as an arrogant child playing at war. He questions David's motives, his character, and his right to even speak. This is a painful truth about calling. Those closest to you often doubt you first. They knew you before. They can't see God's hand on you now. But David doesn't defend himself. He simply turns away and continues asking his questions. A true calling doesn't require everyone's approval. It only requires God's. Word reaches King Saul. Someone is asking about fighting the giant. Saul sends for David. The shepherd boy stands before the king and speaks with startling confidence. Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him. Saul's response is immediate and logical. You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth. Every military advisor would agree. The size difference is absurd. The experience gap is insurmountable. The weapon advantage is total. But David has something Saul lacks. David has recent personal testimonies of God's faithfulness. David tells his story. Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Let this reality settle. David has killed a lion with his bare hands. He has killed a bear in hand-to-hand combat. These weren't group efforts. These weren't lucky accidents. These were solo battles fought in the wilderness when no one was watching. The lion and bear were David's training ground. God was preparing him in secret for this public moment. Then David makes his declaration. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine. Saul agrees to let David fight, but then he makes a mistake. He tries to dress David in his own armor, the king's tunic, coat of armor, and bronze helmet. David straps on the sword and tries to walk. It doesn't work. The armor is too heavy, too unfamiliar, too restrictive. I cannot go in these, David says, because I am not used to them. He takes off every piece. This moment is crucial. David rejects the world's weapons. He refuses to fight in someone else's armor. God doesn't call you to use methods that aren't yours. He calls you to use what He's already placed in your hands. The world sees David's choice as foolishness. God sees it as faith. David chooses his weapons carefully. He takes his staff, the shepherd's rod he knows intimately. He goes to the brook running through the valley. He selects 5 smooth stones, each one perfectly shaped by water and time. He places them in his shepherd's bag. He takes his sling, the weapon he's used countless times to protect sheep from predators. That's it. No sword, no spear, no armor. Just the tools of a shepherd. The sling is a devastating weapon in skilled hands. Ancient slingers could hit targets at 200 yards and strike with the force of a bullet. But the world doesn't see skill. They see a boy with stones. God sees something different. He sees faith that trusts Him more than weapons. David walks toward Goliath. The Philistine comes closer, his shield bearer ahead of him. Goliath looks at David. He sees the youth, the ruddy face, the absence of armor, and he is insulted. Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? The giant's contempt is total. This isn't fair. This is offensive. Goliath curses David by his gods. Come here, he roars, and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals. The threat is specific, denying proper burial, the ultimate humiliation in ancient culture. But Goliath's contempt is his weakness. He has dismissed David as irrelevant. He has underestimated the shepherd's weapons. Most fatally, he has mocked the living God. David's response is one of Scripture's greatest declarations. You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. He doesn't deny Goliath's advantages. He acknowledges them. Then he declares his own advantage, the name of the living God. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I'll strike you down and cut off your head. This isn't hope. This isn't wishful thinking. This is a prophetic declaration rooted in covenant faithfulness. David continues, the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's. Goliath moves forward to attack, but David doesn't wait. He doesn't retreat. He runs. David runs quickly toward the battle line to meet the Philistine. While others flee from giants, David charges toward his. He reaches into his bag. He takes a stone. He places it in his sling. He swings. The stone launches through the air at devastating speed. It strikes Goliath in the forehead, the one exposed area on his entire body. The stone sinks deep into his skull, and the giant falls, face down. The earth shakes with his weight. The armies freeze in shock. Silence. Total, absolute silence. Then David runs to Goliath. He draws the giant's own sword, and he cuts off his head. The advantage has shifted completely. When the Philistines see their champion is dead, terror seizes them. They turn and run, and suddenly Israel's paralyzed army comes alive. They surge forward with a shout. They pursue the Philistines all the way to the gates of Ekron and Gath. The valley floor that held 40 days of fear now runs with complete victory. One act of faith has transformed everything. One person's courage has broken the curse of an entire nation. This is the power of one person who truly believes in God. This is what happens when someone refuses to accept the enemy's narrative. This is the result when faith acts instead of just feeling. David's bravery didn't just defeat Goliath, it unleashed Israel's army. Your courage might do the same for others. What did David understand that changed everything? He understood that true advantage isn't measured by sight. Goliath had every physical advantage, but David had the ultimate advantage, a covenant relationship with the living God. Goliath trusted in his size, David trusted in his God. Goliath relied on his weapons, David relied on past faithfulness. Goliath fought for pride, David fought for God's glory. The giant saw a boy, David saw an opportunity for God to be magnified. 1 Samuel 17:47 gives us the key. For the battle is the Lord's, and He will give all of you into our hands. When you understand whose battle you're fighting, the enemy's advantages become irrelevant. You're not measuring your strength against their strength. You're accessing God's strength against their rebellion. You face giants with massive advantages. Maybe it's a disease with statistics against you. Maybe it's a debt with numbers that don't add up. Maybe it's an addiction with a grip that seems unbreakable. Maybe it's a relationship with damage that appears irreparable. The enemy wants you to focus on the advantage gap. He wants you to measure your resources against the problem's size. He wants you to calculate the odds and conclude defeat before you begin. But what if you're looking at the wrong advantage? What if the real question isn't, how big is my giant, but how big is my God? What if your past faithfulness in small battles has been preparing you for this? What if your weakness is exactly where God's strength shows up best? David's bravery wasn't reckless. It was informed by experience, rooted in relationship, and directed by faith. He didn't deny Goliath's advantages. He didn't pretend the giant was small. He simply believed God was bigger. This is your moment to be brave. Not foolish, not presumptuous, but genuinely, biblically brave. Pick up what's in your hand. Stop waiting for better weapons. Stop comparing yourself to others. Stop letting the giant's voice drown out God's promises. Run toward your battle, knowing the outcome doesn't depend on your adequacy. It depends on God's faithfulness. Your bravery might inspire others who've been paralyzed by the same fear. Your stand might break a spiritual stronghold over your family. Your faith might become a testimony that strengthens generations. But it starts with one brave step. David's victory points to a greater victory. David faced a physical giant. Jesus faced spiritual giants, sin, death, and Satan himself. David fought to save Israel from slavery. Jesus fought to save humanity from eternal death. David's weapon was a stone. Jesus' weapon was a cross. David cut off the giant's head. Jesus crushed the serpent's head. David's victory seemed impossible by human standards. Jesus' victory seemed like defeat until the third day. The resurrection is God's ultimate statement about advantage. Death had every advantage. The grave was sealed, the enemy celebrated, but on Sunday morning, the stone was rolled away. The battle was won. The giant of death was defeated forever. David gives us courage. Jesus gives us victory. The Valley of Elah stands as eternal testimony. When faith meets fear, faith wins. When courage meets calculation, courage triumphs. When God's name meets enemy mockery, God's name prevails. David's brave stand echoes through history. Every generation has needed this story. Every believer has faced a moment when bravery was required. The question is never whether you have advantages. The question is whether you believe in the God of advantages. Will you stand when others sit? Will you speak when others are silent? Will you run toward the battle when the army runs away? Your giant may have every advantage visible to human eyes, but you have something the giant doesn't have. You have the name of the Lord Almighty. You have the testimony of past faithfulness. You have the promise of divine presence. One stone, one sling, one brave shepherd, one moment that changed everything. David didn't defeat Goliath because he was strong enough. He defeated Goliath because he was faithful enough to act on what he believed. The giant's advantage was massive, but God's advantage was greater. This is your invitation to bravery. Not someday, today. Not when you feel ready, now. Pick up your stones, remember your testimonies, declare God's promises, and charge. Because the battle is the Lord's, the victory is certain, the advantage is yours, not because of your size, but because of who you are. Not because of your strength, but because of His power. Go face your giant. The same God who guided David's stone will guide your steps. Be brave, stand firm, and watch what God will do. Amen.